Hey everyone, so glad that you could join us for this ebook celebration. The ebook is live, Up-Level Your Business, Up-Level Your Life. So excited. It's on Amazon Kindle right now. And that means we have to do what we do best. It wouldn't be a Kristen celebration without some champagne, some bubbles. Sorry, this is some great Oregon Pinot Noir bubbles that is from Dick Erath, my stepfather, makes a barrel every year for us. It's phenomenal. For those of you that don't know me, my mother actually owned and operated a winery, CJ David, down in a winery called Siskiyou Vineyards Winery for 24 years. So growing up, I had wine all around us. And then she sold that and got married to Dick Erath, who had his own winery and vineyards. And so now we definitely enjoy our wine and our bubbles, and every year do a little Oregon Pinot Noir bubbles. That's most amazing. So cheers. This is one of these great moments to great accomplishments of publishing a book. All right. So we're here today to enjoy and to go over and let me share a little bit about what has worked and what hasn't worked in writing a book. It's been just an incredible journey, and everything from writing the book to launching the book to all the marketing and media like this Facebook Live. For instance, one of the things that I want to share is that there's a lot that goes into publishing a book and a lot that goes into marketing a book. And there are high points and low points. So it's a great chance and to kind of just share for any of you that are thinking about being authors. I would highly recommend it. It's so much fun. So, I'm also trying to find out if we are getting good audio, getting good things going here. So one of the fun parts about writing a book is getting to map out all the different chapters and all the great content you want to talk about, right? Because part of doing a book is about sharing your stories, about enjoying and having people out there so that you can, an audience that needs to hear what you have to say. And that's what this book is all about. So, I wrote this book because 20 years ago, when I started running my law firm business, I didn't know how to do all this stuff either. And I wish somebody would have just given me this guidebook that would have told everyone told us all how to run a successful business. And I've read lots of books. I'm an avid reader, and there's nothing out there really. And so this has been a dream come true for me, because I want to be able to impart all these stories and all this information and let people learn from my mistakes and not do all the crazy things that I did, not have the same mistakes made in their businesses, right? So cheers to all of you business owners who have dealt with this in the past and made it through to the other side successfully. But there's so many of your colleagues that need this help, that need to learn how to sit down and really run a business like a business. So one of the things we talk about, this is the 4 pillars of successful business management, because there's always got to be the planning stage. There's always got to be marketing and sales. You've always got to deal with the management. That's the people. That's the getting the product or service done. And you've always got to be doing the financial control. So 4 pillars to successful business management. That's it. Super simple, 4 boxes. And so I wrote this book to help people have that framework, to help them understand how to find the right kind of people, how to engage and really build up an A team, not just a mediocre team, how to have ongoing training so your team thrives, right? That's so important. So, again, it's it's such a journey. Business ownership is a journey, and it's balancing all that stuff. So that's why I'm just so excited that, you know, our new ebook is out there. We're launched. This is just amazing. So much fun stuff. So I want to actually share with you a couple of little short stories, and then we'll go back to some of the ups and downs and the craziness that we've had of going through and building this book up. But let me just take you into one little funny story. So this is in a chapter on when is it time to say goodbye to your, maybe an employee that's just not working out, and talking about, do they need to go, and working up to the termination. And then I talk about egregious behavior, because let's be honest, sometimes there is egregious behavior. How many of you out there have had an employee that did something wacky and wild, and you're like, wow, should this person even still be employed at this point? Like, you seriously wonder whether you need to terminate the person right away. Well, I had that moment, right? I had that moment. It was crazy. And so egregious behavior. So here's what I wrote. Here's a little snippet out of my book. Now, let's be honest. If there's someone who is absolutely inappropriate and engages in egregious behavior, that's the time to cut them loose immediately. This kind of behavior is sort of like pornography. You know it when you see it. There are lots of different shades of gray, but when something happens, you'll know it's time for that staff member to be let go. For example, early in my career, I was a young attorney, approximately 25 years old at that time, and had only been practicing for about 18 months. I was still very young, very green, and I had this wonderful paralegal who thought she knew everything, only she didn't. And one day I asked her yet again to make the same corrections to a document that needed to go out. We'd already gone through 3 prior previous revisions, and the mistakes were still there. So as I placed it on the counter, I let her know it had to get perfected because it had to go out that day. As I walked away, I heard her yell, "No!" And as I turned back to look at what's going on, I spotted a stapler flying through the air in my direction. And as I leaned back a little to make sure I was out of the way of the stapler, I remembered thinking, fuck, can I fire her? And then just then she blurted out, "I'm sorry, I forgot to take my meds." At which point I thought, shit, can I fire her? Because I didn't know. See, law school never taught me how to manage people and what was permissive or not permissive bounds of egregious behavior. I walked into my office and closed the door and called a friend of mine who did employment law and learned that indeed, yes, I could fire her. It is in these moments that sometimes we don't know what the right behavior or level of response is that can rise to the point of immediate execution. But I will tell you, trust your gut. If your employee's behavior seemed that far off, you're probably right. But do check with your local laws and make sure you're in a state where it's permissible to trust your gut. So see, that's just one little story. I've got tons of stories like that in this book. It's been so much fun to write it and to share all of those learning moments, because goodness gracious, we all learn slowly, little by little by little, but I don't want anyone to have to go through all the mistakes I made. I want you to all to learn them early and understand what to avoid, what things to start doing and what not to do, right? So cheers to that. I'm going to enjoy. Again, it's 5 p.m. here in Paris. I know it's a little early for champagne for those of you on the West Coast, 8 a.m. But hey, we're here in Paris and 5 p.m. it's permissible. And plus, this is a celebration, and we want to celebrate the fact this book is out, and we want to make sure people get out there and share it and have fun with it. This is going to be a great go-to book that when a colleague or somebody's having a difficult time, maybe you have lunch with them or you catch up with them and they're struggling in their business, go on Amazon.com. On the right-hand side underneath the purchase box, there's a box where you can gift this item. You can always gift this book to people. Make their day, make their world a better place by sharing this. So that's something to keep with you. Think about when you're trying to think of when to give somebody something or a thank you, this might be an appropriate gift. Okay, so the other thing we talked about is that I promised is that we were going to talk about the ups and downs of writing. So for those of you that are thinking about writing or you're just interested, what in the hell is it like in the background? It's tough to write on a schedule sometimes. How many of you have like written down your schedule and said, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, and then it flies out the window, right? We never even make it. We're not able to stick to our plan. I'm sure it happens to me daily practically. My ideal plan gets pivoted and changed many, many times. And I'm sure, throw in the comments, what are some of the things that take you off kilter in your day? Is it colleagues stopping by saying, got a minute? Is it your other tasks that take longer than expected? Is it dealing with staff who aren't following directions or who have more questions than they should? These are all the kinds of things we talk about in the book. We talk about how to properly onboard a person. We talk about delegation and having that clarity so people can do a great job all the time and don't have to come to you, the owner, or you, the manager, with questions all the time, right? So, this is part of good business management. And when you're writing a book, you treat it like a business. So you make a plan and then you've got this writing schedule, and that gets tough because sometimes you're in a more creative space and you want to write, and other times you're in that zone where, maybe not today. And so you learn to take advantages of those times when you're in that zone of write, and get a bunch of it mapped out. The other thing is, first thing in the morning when you wake up and your mind's very creative, I would often start dictating and send it to rev.com, one of my favorite transcription sites, because I could get down 3 or 4 pages worth of information just by dictating out what stories and what things I wanted to tell about. But another great tip that I learned along this journey was mapping out each chapter and putting 6 to 8 bullet points. What are the main points you want to talk about in that chapter? What are the stories you could tell? What are the examples you might use? So then when you go back to write the book, it's so much easier. It's so much easier. So yes, there are ups and downs. One of my favorite ups that I will cheers to, and this is a cheers to those that helped me edit my book. Kudos to Robert and CJ and Bethany and Rochelle. You guys did an amazing job helping me consider different perspectives. And so when you go to write, you do your first version essentially, and you think you've got it perfect, and then you give it to other people to read, and they give you the most amazing feedback. How many of you have done that, whether it's in writing a document for your work or for personal? You write a draft and you give it to somebody else, or even just wait a couple days and go back to it and edit it, and you can make it so much better. See, it's all about the editing. How many of you find that editing makes it so much better? Yes, absolutely. And so I end up going back through the entire book from chapter 1 and end of chapter 18. Some of these are real small chapters. Some are like tiring, a bit longer, right? But it was just amazing to reread it. And it had been about 20, 25 days since I had picked it up. And it was like, I was so excited about how good it was, but I was even more excited to make it better. And with the help of my editor friends and people that were giving me feedback, I was able to tune it in and add some more stories. I hope that you guys agree that those are the parts that make it so much fun, is when you get to fine tune. So cheers to editing your books. and editing anything in life, actually. You know, anytime you're writing, even sometimes just a post, you sometimes write it, wait a few minutes, and then go back and read it, fine tune it. That's why they've got that little edit button, right? So one of the things that we always want to do when you're launching an ebook is the marketing and the planning. And that can be some of the biggest challenges because there's so much out there, right? It's like a whole new world when it's your first time. And I would encourage you all, like, there's some great programs out there to help you with marketing your book, help you with putting together some of the content for the promotional materials. My blog this week is on tips for how to do an ebook launch like a pro. And I'm pretty candid. For those of you that know me, I share everything. I share all kinds of stuff. In fact, when you pick up a copy of the book, you're going to get a chance to get some free resources just for getting the book. So I'm going to pop this over here in the chat. You can go to www.uplevelingyourbusiness.com and then /free-resources. And that's going to take you to a page where you're going to get 4 documents that coincide with our 4 pillars of successful business management. Super cool. It's just my gift to everybody. One of them is on marketing. One of them is the 5 steps to hiring success. One's on financial controls. One's on short-term and long-term planning goal sheet. So lots of good stuff there. Have fun with it, you guys. And help me spread the word, because you're welcome to share the book link to Amazon Kindle and those free resources with anyone you know. You know, one of your greatest gifts you can give to another is the gift of a referral or a gift of sharing the information. So definitely, this is a book that you're going to want to share with others. Let them know about the free resources. I'm a big believer in you give and then you get, right? It's the Bob Burr book. So it's, you know, we've got lots of free content, lots of free resources. I hope you will enjoy the book as much as I did writing it and editing it. And I'm sure I'll go back and read it at least one more time, just because, you know, it's a journey and there's always so many great things out there. So yes, this is a big celebration. That's why we have the bubbles. That's why we're having fun. The ebook has been just such an amazing opportunity, an amazing time. So I hope you get your copy. The other thing is, as part of the celebration, to let you look forward to the print version of the book. The print version will be coming out on March 15th or thereabouts, March 15th or 16th, I can't remember. And then the Audible version is set to release June 15th. And then we're looking to put it into French and Spanish on September 15th. So big yays, more champagne coming. I'll enjoy it. Cheers to that. It's going to be great. So excellent, you guys. I am so glad you were able to jump on and watch a little bit of this Facebook Live time, helping me celebrate. Send me a message, send me an email. Would love to hear your thoughts, your comments on the book. I look forward to your reviews on the book. Lots of great stuff. We've got just so much that it's so exciting to be where I am right now. And I'm so grateful to all the hundreds and hundreds of business owners who have helped me mature and learn along the way, both in my own business and helping them with their businesses, as I've coached and worked with over 1,500 businesses. I sat down and actually mapped it out. There have been so many business owners and businesses I've gone into over the years, and they've all contributed to help me with have the insights that I have today. So kudos to every business owner out there, and look forward to hearing your comments on the book, Up Level Your Business, Up Level Your Life, 4 pillars of successful business management. Cheers from Paris. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.